Yo, what's good? So I did a bunch of shops today. It was popping off a little more than it has been in the last couple weeks. So I was listening to a video that a family friend had sent in a group chat, and I was getting real into it, and then I just had a visual of myself just lying in the park meditating while I was listening to this. So I came home so I can grab my headphones. It's a Wednesday and I born day fast on Wednesdays, so I wanted to refilm my protein shake so I can head back out. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the park now and meditate for a bit before sunset, before I come home and have my supper. Excuse me. Yeah, so I'll take you guys with me and see you there. Damn. It is 4:38. I just finished listening to this video by Matt Kahn. I'll more than likely insert a time lapse of the sunset with like a snippet of the video, just the audio, so you can hear just a clip of what I was listening to, and I'll link his video in my description bar as well. While I was meditating, I don't know if you can see.
What if your healing journey is about accepting how you feel with absolutely no one to blame? And you might say, well, that would give people permission to just do whatever they're going to do in my life. But aren't people already doing whatever they want to do in your life? Like, aren't people already doing that? Like, you were in a relationship and all of a sudden it ended and you were the last one to find out. Like, didn't that person just do whatever they wanted to do? So it looks like your blame is not patrolling your field properly. Looks like blame is not keeping you safe, is it? Because people are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be who they're going to be, and you can't stop that. And that's scary for some people. That's scary. That it takes two people to start a relationship and only one person to end it. That seems like a one-sided transaction. And it is. And life goes, are you willing to risk it all for love? Two people can start it, one person can end it. Ooh, that sounds scary. Oh, it is scary. It's going to be really scary. Are you willing to risk it all for love? Are you willing to risk it all for truth? Because the same thing it takes for you to dive headfirst into love is the same journey of taking God's hand and being willing to walk through the fire of adversity. Are you willing to take the hand of the divine and say, lead me through the fire, and no matter how hot it gets, I will only praise your light? That's your vision quest. And you only walk through fires until you come up with a very Buddhist-flavored realization. And I'll tell you what I realized in the middle of my deepest fire, where I had an adversity come upon me so spontaneously, and I had no sense of blaming anyone, and the situation didn't even merit blame on anyone's side. So masterfully crafted, no one to blame, just a fire erupting, a forest fire in every cell of my body that literally cooked the last remaining bits out of me from the inside out. Just incinerated me. And you know what I realized in my final incineration, my final purification, my final initiation? Because I was burning emotionally and burning and burning and burning. And then I had a realization and the burning stopped. And I'll tell you what the realization was. You can't burn a fire. I was no longer the person being burned in a fire. I was just the fire burning. And the person in the fire was the imagination of the fire. That's waking up. A fire can't be burned, and you are the fire. What is a fire made of? light. You are the light, but light is fire. You're not the one being burnt by the fire. You're a fire that can't be burnt. Just feel that in the room. First we had peace, now we have spontaneous feelings of fearlessness. Feel how less afraid you are right now. Do you know why you're feeling less afraid? Because you're less interested in blame. The people who are the most afraid are the most likely to blame. When you have no interest in blame, what are you afraid of? People are going to do what they're going to do anyway, and you can't stop them. You can't stop them. And they can't stop you. If you have no interest in blame, there's nothing to be afraid of. Because the only thing you're afraid of are the things you're most willing to blame. You know why people are afraid of, I'm just going to use spiritual terms, and as an energetically sensitive being and as an intuitive and a healer, I perceive the energetic realms. I see the spirit world. So I just want to help dispel something that's been out there for a little bit and give it a different spin on it. Very popular for people to see something called entities. You ever hear that? Right? Entities. The horror film of the spiritual journey. Oh my God. Hope there are no entities here. You ever been around someone when you don't give them what they want or when you don't say something they like and then they accuse you of having entities in your field? No bigger amount of spiritual bullshit than that. I had someone do that to me once, a long time ago. They asked me for a favor and I said, yeah, I'm not really jiving with that. I'm not getting a yes on that. Matt, it feels like you have, some entities in your field. Oh yeah, really? I have entities in my field because I'm not giving you what you want? Isn't that a little suspect? Do you know why people are afraid of entities? Because that's what they're willing to blame for their lives. What, you're God? And you would have fully been God? But an entity got in your way? A dark, shadowy something? First of all, if you're the light of God, how can a dark entity get within 20 feet of your light? The only reason you experience entities is because you don't know yourself to be the light. You know yourself to be the light, things get fried 100 feet from you. It's like trying to pick a fight with the sun. If you jumped into the sky towards the sun, before you could punch the sun, you'd be evaporated into nothingness. You're the sun. People talk about the Son of God. You're the S-U-N Son of God. You're the light of God. That's what the Son means. It's written like S-O-N, like Father, Son, which kind of gender-wise. It's not the most inclusive thing, don't you think? It's really the Son of God, the S-U-N, the light of consciousness, the Son of God. You are radiating the light of consciousness, and if something that is unconscious gets within 100 feet of you in a fully realized being's field, they are literally either transformed, disassembled, confused, and taken off in a different direction, or elevated into their highest aspect of truth while in the presence of that light. And what an entity actually is, even if you look at someone's field and you see dark, shadowy stuff, you're just seeing aspects of their own ego that have been so fragmented out of unity that it feels to the person like there's something else in their field trying to control them. It's just an aspect of separation that has gone so deep in separation that it feels like there's other things inside of me. They're just other aspects. They're fragments waiting to be loved. And they're not going to act appropriate, and it's going to be a little weird. And you're gonna go, I love you, and it's gonna go, I love you. Because to really think there are these separate things called entities. Let's just really challenge that for a moment. Like, what if I give you a funny way to challenge the belief in entities? Because entities on a spiritual path, even when you see it, you can see what you see, but how do you really know what you're seeing? I gave someone a very funny answer once. They go, someone came up to me, and they were really steeped in a really deep spiritual ego, a lot of judgments. Their third eye was open to seeing energy, but their ego was still projecting its judgments onto what it saw. So it saw, but it didn't know what it was seeing. So isn't that interesting? You can see other dimensions, but you may not know what you're seeing, because it might just be another way of creating spiritual perceptions and judgments. A person came up to me, and it was hilarious, because sometimes people need to validate their intuitive abilities. Like, how many times have you ever, and again, we're all intuitive. I've been working as intuitive for many years, and I'm only saying these experiences because it's what's happened to me. And we laugh just to lighten the load of the intensity. But someone who's an intuitive will oftentimes deliver a message.
As you can probably see and hear, mainly, I am back home. What I was trying to tell you guys before my battery died, which I thought was kind of interesting, that the timing of it, I was trying to show you that I believe it was the same hawk. I think it was a hawk because it had a huge ass wingspan. I'm not no bird person, but that's what it looked like. Anyway, and that's what I'm gonna call it. I think it was the same one that flew directly at eye level with me last time I went to that same park last week. This time while I was lying down, it just perched up on top of the light post. It didn't go inside the tree. It just perched up on top of the light post, and eye shot of me. And I was just watching it as the sun set, and I felt like it was just sort of guarding me in a way, protecting me in a way. It's just weird because I would think something and it would look at me, and yeah. And then I thought it was wild because as I'm zooming in on it, my battery dies, and I decided instead of just walking directly down the hill, I'll take the pathway past it. And so as I took the pathway past it, nothing happened, but once I walked by it, it flew away. It was like, okay, you got the message, I can leave now. And it was just, I don't know, it was just a very beautiful experience. And I'm really glad that I went, and I listened to my instincts telling me to go to the park and lie down and just have a moment. So yeah, do that. If you ever have like a visual of in your mind of you just being completely at peace and just relaxing, give yourself the time and the opportunity to do so, because it's your body telling you that you need something, and that in the long run it'll be worth it. So yeah, now I'm gonna warm up my leftovers because it's sunset already, so I have my leftovers, and then I'm just gonna keep editing. So this is probably it for today. There's nothing too exciting. If something happens, then I'll pull out the phone. There's something, yeah, I'm just gonna get real close to her now. There's something in this vicinity that is stabbing the inside of my mouth. I think it's this. I don't know what it is. It's not fun. And this whole area, oh my god, it's just roughed up. So yeah, that's where I'm at, but we're gonna be okay. Anyway, today's been a very good day, especially after I'm editing footage from last week, and it's on the heavier side of it. So whenever you do see this, it would have been uploaded by then, but like, well, you probably won't see this until a week after I've uploaded sad girl moments. So this is just a drastic difference, so you can be on like the ebbs and flows of the emotional waves of mine. So yeah, I'll check in on y'all later. You begin to, I guess, show aspects of yourself, show the strength within yourself that you might not have thought was there otherwise, you know. And so I'm hella grateful for all of the bad shit that happened, because ultimately, like, it was gonna happen anyway. So a lot of these things were gonna happen anyway, because I'm like, I didn't want to work at the job that I was working at. Okay. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to afford the place that I was living at before on my own. Had to move. Okay. My grandparents, love them. Honestly, I wish they were here, but I knew at some point it was gonna happen, because it's inevitable. It's one of those things. And I told myself something. The one thing that I knew was in my control was going after a passion of mine that I had been so scared to attempt, right? And I've now given myself that opportunity and put myself out of my comfort zone, and even if I'm taking baby steps, so even if it's seeming like, oh, this is gonna make me uncomfortable, just, bitch, if it's what you want, sis, I don't want to tell you, just gonna have to do it, like, cause the regret's gonna hurt a lot more than, you know, jumping off that little cliff edge and risking it.